Hello, welcome to another edition of Mike Ferry TV. This is the week of July 22nd. My name is Tony Smith, filling in for Mike Ferry this week, and I am thrilled to be here. Okay, we just wrapped up the Superstar Retreat last week, and I have to tell you, it was off the charts. The attendance, the attentiveness, people taking notes, the energy, the enthusiasm, Mike's points, incredible. For those of you that were there, thank you for being there. For those of you who didn't make it, don't miss another one. Okay, so during the event, something crossed my mind that I want to bring to our attention today. One of the really hidden gems of the Mike Ferry sales system, or a hidden gem if you're going to run a business for that matter, is the ability to get involved in a really strong mastermind group. You know, in MFO, we have dozens and dozens of mastermind groups operating today. And the mastermind groups, you know, they don't show up on the little value sheet when you sign up for Mike Ferry. They don't show up on our website, right? This is a little hidden gem that I have to tell you is invaluable for some of the members, okay? A mastermind group. First of all, you have to ask yourself, are you officially in a mastermind group? If not, and you're trying to run a business, should you get into a mastermind group? We would say yes. So let's look at some thoughts about mastermind groups. You know, if we go clear back to the late 20s and early 30s, 1920, 1930, there was a man named Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill was an instrumental leader in thinking in a different way. In fact, you probably read his book, Think and Grow Rich, okay? He spent the majority of his life studying successful people, you know, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies. And in his studies, one of the points that came out was developing what he called then the Mastermind Alliance. And I remember writing it down. It says, you know, let's create a virtual encyclopedia where a group of people can all tap into and draw from great ideas. And his thought was, well, if I'm smart and I have some great ideas, that's awesome. But if I can get 4 or 5 or 6 other people and we can start masterminding together and we can all bring our great ideas to the table and we can share in those ideas, don't we have an encyclopedia of great ideas? And will we grow faster if we have that kind of synergy? Basically, it was the initial formulation of the word synergy. So if you think about it, a mastermind group, a group of people in business that are trying to achieve similar goals. I mean, we've got mastermind groups of people that are trying to break through 50 deals for the first time. We've got mastermind groups of, you know, husband and wife teams that are running a business and how to work through that. We've got mastermind groups of trying to break through $1 million in income, break through 100 deals. We've got mastermind groups on investing in real estate. And all of these little mastermind groups, they're around today in our system. In fact, many of the people met and had little dinners last week. They got together, they spent time together in this mastermind group. So think about it. If you could get a little group of people together, if you could set up a structure, an environment where you get on the phone for 30 minutes every week, you come up with an agenda, you start working through that agenda. Can you imagine the power of that group? So here's some things you might want to consider when it comes to developing a mastermind group. The first thing I wrote down is that you need to have somewhat of a common goal, okay? So you need to have a goal where you're trying to achieve something similar because you're bringing the ideas. Maybe you have a mastermind group of wanting to dominate the skills in the industry that we've chosen. So you need to have a common goal and work through that common goal, okay? The second thing I wrote down is everybody that's participating in the group needs to be committed. The only way this thing works if you have committed individuals in the group. Passionate, driven, committed, they're involved. So when you form the group, you have to make sure that everybody's committed to being there. I wrote down the word participation. Boy, that's a big word today in general, okay? If you're in the group, you have to expect and enforce participation. Nobody can hide out in this group. Right? You can't let one dominant figure in the group take over and everybody just sit and listen. That's not masterminding. It requires strong participation. In fact, some of the groups that I know that are operating actually set up a little agenda And they'll take turns, like, Bob, you have week 1, Mary, you have week 2, and you get an assignment. You're responsible for leading the group call this week. You come up with your topics in advance. What are we going to cover? Maybe you have homework. Let's bring some ideas to the table. Maybe some information together to the table. Participation is key, and you have to enforce it. If you have a mastermind group and people aren't participating, you either have to get them participating or move them out of the group. Okay? I wrote down the word accountability. Okay? It only works. If you have assignments that you're going to do, research that needs to be done, projects, things that you're going to do throughout the group, you have to be accountable to that. I mean, I've seen some of these mastermind groups here that actually they have a fee if you're late. Like, if you show up late to the call, you have to pay money. Okay? It's accountability. Do we all need more accountability? Of course, we all need more accountability. So it has to have accountability. If you're currently in a mastermind group, are you enforcing the accountabilities that you set out to do? I wrote down, you have to have a purpose, right? It isn't about idle chit-chat. This isn't about us all, talking about the week, how do we do this week? You need to have a purpose. Right? So this week, I think we all want to take on the assignment of coming back to the group with the best 4 or 5 answers we have of what value we want to bring to the database in terms of a conversation. Would that be valuable? Would it take the group forward? Right? Or we've made a decision that we're all going to talk to 25 people a day for the next 5 days, and we're going to report back. I know of one mastermind group that in January every year, each person in the group takes their turn in the hot seat presenting their business plan to the rest of the group. So what you have to recognize is that they all got together and they each took a turn in the hot seat going over their plan, and everybody else critiqued it. Hey, tell me more about that. Why do you think that's going to work? Are those numbers correct? And you think of the power of that if you had 5 or 6 other members critiquing you on your business plan? There's so many great ideas that you can get involved with if you have a mastermind group. I highly suggest, if you want to grow your income, if you want to increase your production, if you want to increase your profit, if you want to get more involved, especially today, you either get into a mastermind group or you recommit to the mastermind group you're in, and you set this up to move forward going into the second half of this year. So I hope you guys all take some great notes from this. If you get a chance, if you haven't read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and read the chapter on the Mastermind Alliance, you're missing out. Okay? So let's get a mastermind thoughts going. Let's get some groups together. Let's recommit to those groups and let's push them forward. Thanks for your time.